welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I want to update you on what is finally going on. Nancy Pelosi reportedly struck a deal with moderates in the House, and this is potentially good news. I want to address what's going on there. We'll get to more details on that. We're also going to do an update on lawmakers who are pushing for a fourth stimulus check, and I want to explain what is going on there. This is getting very tricky. Got some interesting math to just kind of go over as well, so I'm going to bring that to your attention also. I want to update you on the new reports coming out from President Biden regarding Afghanistan, and we got some updates regarding Americans looking for a different job. So if you're interested in any of this stuff, please make sure you watch all the way through. Also, if you enjoy these daily uploads, could you do me a favor? Go ahead, hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. Also, consider subscribing, but let's get into the update. Here's what we know. We know that Senate Democrat Kyrsten Sinema, she has stated that she does not support that $3.5 trillion stimulus package or infrastructure bill. We know that she says it's too expensive and it does not need to be that much. She also stated that this is not a negotiation tactic and she will not be changing her mind. She is one of those 50 Senate Democrats that has to vote yes in order to get this bill passed. If she votes no, doesn't matter if all other 49 Democrats vote yes, we know no Republican will vote yes. That means the vote will not pass because of her one vote. That's what we know. With this statement that Kyrsten Sinema made, many Democrats worry that they will need to find a new route. They will need to find a different way. They will need to go back to the drawing board, renegotiate this top line number at $3.5 trillion. And they will have to figure out how many lawmakers they have on board and at what cost. If they don't get all Democrats to agree, they will not move forward with this bill. Well, Bernie Sanders, he said this multiple times. He said this again about another month ago. He stated anything under $3 trillion would never get his support. We also know that according to many reports, Senator Joe Manchin wants a bill closer to $2 trillion, not $3.5 trillion. Reports also indicate that centrists want to see the total cost of both the bipartisan bill and the budget resolution bill, or the budget reconciliation. They want to see that at $3.2 trillion max. Here's the issue. The current bipartisan bill is $1.2 trillion, but it has about $550 billion in new spending. What you need to keep in mind is that $1.2 trillion leaves only $2 trillion in additional money that can be set aside for the budget reconciliation. That is something that is far too low that many progressives would never go for. Well, here's where we're going with that. Right now, some say that these discussions, they need to be had, and they need to have these discussions immediately. Right now, we also know that many are talking with Nancy Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, trying to figure out what they support. Do they support a bigger bill or a smaller bill? And according to experts, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Speaker Pelosi both support the bill that Bernie Sanders has put in front of them. This is that $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation bill, which also President Biden has signed off on. So things are getting very tricky. Now, while there is some discussions to be had on this bill, here's what we know. There has been a deal accepted by Nancy Pelosi and moderates in the House. That these are the 9 centrist Democrats that want to vote against the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. Just a short while ago, Bloomberg reported that Nancy Pelosi and moderates began moving forward. This deal is going to allow moderates to support the $3.5 trillion Senate budget resolution. And it would actually set the terms for a later vote on that final passage of the $1.2 trillion bill, which has about $550 billion of new funding. This is actually according to Representative Henry Cuellar. So this is actually pretty important that we're starting to see this, because the House is not expected to be in session for very long. They were only going to be here for yesterday and today, vote on the bill, and get back out of Washington. That was what was expected. However, we could see more delays. And I addressed this earlier in my video that I did this morning, that it's just seeing more delays. And we could see delays go all the way into September, which is technically like 7 days away. But the good news is they actually came to an agreement. So as we know more information there, I promise I will fill you in on those details. But the reports indicate right now, this is coming from Bloomberg, is that yes, there will be a vote later on this afternoon. So as we get some updates there, I promise I will fill you in on that update as well. But let's get into the stimulus news. Let's get into what are current lawmakers saying regarding additional stimulus checks, and will we get that fourth stimulus check? Because many people desperately need it. Some lawmakers were very upset with the fact that they learned that many people who received a stimulus check, $1,200, $600, or $1,400 stimulus check, they put their money right into the stock market. With the $1,200 stimulus checks, not as many put their money into their stock market. With the $600 stimulus checks, again, not so many, but there were more. With the $1,400 stimulus checks, more people put their money into the stock market than they did actually spend it. So this is where lawmakers are saying, you know what? This is not a good use of money. They say this is the reason why we saw the market have such a big upswing. But again, if you invested, that was great. I told you guys last year, if you could invest a little bit, even if it was $50, $100, it didn't matter. Invest a little bit if you could. Now, this is what's causing many Democrats to argue that giving money to people just to see them invest it back into the stock market and not put it back into the economy is not a smart move. But yet lawmakers, they are investing into stocks. They're investing into these companies. They're the ones making the laws. And before the laws actually go public, many of them are already investing into the companies. They're already investing into Pfizer when they know, okay, we're going to try to mandate. Well, who do you think is going to benefit from that? Well, Pfizer, Moderna, the drug manufacturers, and obviously anybody that has invested in them, right? I'm glad I invested into Pfizer and Moderna, it was probably about a year ago, actually a little bit longer than a year ago. I invested into them. I had no idea what was going to happen, but I still invested into them. And it did really well. Well, we also know that right now, this is why many lawmakers are pushing for more infrastructure spending than stimulus. They say if we just give more money to the American people, they're going to spend it on things that we do not really recommend. They do not recommend you spend your stimulus check on an investment. Go and stimulate the economy, put it back into the economy so money can turn. That's what they want. But this is again why many Democrats argue that no, let's give more money to the states. Let's give more money to infrastructure and to different programs. Let's fix our roads and bridges and these things that have been had issues for many years. But yet the American people are like, hey, what about us? I didn't spend my money on investments and stocks and things like that. I didn't go buy a new flat screen TV. I didn't do that. So why am I being punished because some people did? Again, that's just the way lawmakers are thinking at this time as well. Some people did it, so let's go and punish the majority because the minority did something different. And it's not right. But just give you an idea. Here, I'm just going to use my situation for an example. Now, let's say I received a $1,200 stimulus check, okay? If I were to take that $1,200 stimulus check last year, okay, back in April, okay, back in April, I was actually investing in Tesla very heavily back then. I still am pretty heavily invested into Tesla, but back then I was really ramping up my investments. Back then, just to give you an idea, this is when Tesla was right about $400, $450 or something like that per share. I don't know exactly, somewhere right around there. But if you invested $1,200 into Tesla and got, let's say, 3 shares, if you did it back then, back on August 31st of 2020, almost a year ago, Tesla actually split 5-1. So if you had 3 shares, you would have actually received 15 shares of current Tesla, which means at $700 a share, it's a little bit over $700 as of creating this video. Well, that would be worth over $10,500 today. You put $1,200 in last year, and it now turned into $10,500 in 1 year. You've 10x'd your money. That's the reason why I pushed a lot of people last year. If you could, even if it was $10, $100, whatever, invest a little bit into different companies because you would have been rewarded. So I just wanted to leave you on that note, but let's get into some of the employment news, not unemployment news. They say that 55% of Americans are going to be looking for a new job in the next 12 months. This includes about 28% of people who currently have a job are going to look for a different one. So if you are in an office building and there's 3 people around you, you and 3 others, one of you is going to be looking for a new job within the next 12 months. What many Americans liked about working from home and working remotely is that they found new interests. They were able to work on their own. They were able to spend time doing what they loved, and they were just much happier. And I can tell you from experience, about 15 years of experience, okay? Actually 16 to 17 years of experience working from home, being self-employed, working for myself. I can tell you, I absolutely love it. So yes, I'm putting in the time, but I absolutely love what I do. Now, for some news on Afghanistan. Here's actually some stuff that it's kind of troubling, but hopefully we can stick to this deadline. President Biden says his goal, as of right now, is still to get 100% out of Afghanistan by August 31st. That's in 7 days. However, he says we could experience some delays. He said he is going to stick to his deadline. However, he does expect some delays. Right now, there's still some work that needs to be done, and according to reports, this means the military is still trying to get out informants, translators, citizens, and reporters all out of the country before they completely pull out of the country. And the Taliban has stated that there will be serious consequences if there is still U.S. military in Afghanistan after August 31st. So, as I know more there, I promise I will fill you in on those updates. Hopefully we do not see any serious consequences, but again, who knows? We are experiencing some delays. So, I promise I will fill you in on all those updates as soon as I can. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.